The stars looked different from inside the USS Liberty. Jake Morrison stood at his post outside the main meeting room and watched the lights through the big window. He had been a soldier for 8 years, but he had never seen anything like this. Today was the day humans would meet aliens for the first time. Jake wore his best uniform. His boots were clean and his hair was cut short. Ambassador Helen Carter had told all the guards to look their best. The aliens were coming to talk about peace. They called themselves Zephyrians. Nobody knew what they looked like yet. The ship was quiet except for the sound of people walking in the halls. Everyone was nervous. Jake could see it in their faces. Some people were scared, some were excited. Jake was both. He had joined the army to protect people, but he never thought he would protect them from space aliens. The big doors opened, and Ambassador Carter walked out. She was a tall woman with gray hair. She always looked calm, but today Jake could see worry in her eyes. She walked up to him and spoke in a low voice. "They will be here soon," she said. "Remember what we talked about. Stand straight. Don't move, unless I tell you. Don't touch anything they give you. Don't stare at them." Jake nodded. He had heard these rules many times. The aliens might look strange. They might smell different. They might make sounds that humans had never heard before. But Jake was a professional. He would do his job. 10 minutes later, the lights in the hall started to flash. That meant the alien ship was getting close. Jake felt his heart beat faster. Through the window, he could see a big silver ship that looked like a crystal. It was beautiful and scary at the same time. The airlock opened with a sound like wind. Then Jake heard something else. It was a high sound like singing, but sadder. As the sound got louder, Jake realized what it was. Someone was crying. The first alien walked through the door, and Jake tried not to stare. The Zephyrian was tall like a tree. Its body looked like it was made of clear blue stone. Light moved through its skin like water. When it talked, its voice sounded like bells ringing. "Greetings, humans," the alien said through a small machine that changed its words to English. "I am Healer Kristen. We come in peace." Ambassador Carter stepped forward and bowed a little. "Welcome to our ship. We are happy to meet you." More aliens came through the door. They all looked like they were made of crystal, but in different colors. Some were blue, some were green. One was silver like the moon. They moved slowly and carefully, like they were dancing. Then Princess Lyralith came through the door, and Jake saw why someone was crying. The princess was the most beautiful alien Jake had ever seen. She was made of purple crystal that sparkled, like stars. But in her arms she held a small baby that was crying very loud. The baby was tiny and clear like glass. Its cries echoed through the hall and made everyone feel sad. Princess Lyralith looked tired. Her crystal skin was not as bright as the others. She walked slowly like every step was hard. The baby kept crying and crying. The sound went right through Jake's chest and made him want to help. Ambassador Carter tried to smile. "Your Highness, welcome. We are honored by your visit." The princess bowed her head, but the baby cried louder. "Thank you for having us," she said through her translator. "I am sorry for my child. He has been crying for 5 days. Our healers do not know what is wrong." Jake watched as they all walked into the meeting room. He could still hear the baby crying through the walls. The sound made him think of his little sister when she was small. She used to cry like that when she was hungry or scared. The meeting started, but it was hard for anyone to think. The baby's cries got louder and more desperate. Jake could hear the aliens talking fast in their own language. Some of them sounded angry. Some sounded worried. After an hour, Ambassador Carter came out of the room. She looked stressed and tired. Jake could see sweat on her face. "Is everything okay?" Jake asked. Carter shook her head. "The baby won't stop crying. The princess thinks he is dying. Some of the other aliens think it means bad luck for our peace talks. They want to leave." Jake looked at the door. The crying was getting worse. It sounded like the baby was in pain. Maybe someone should help. "Their healers have tried everything," Carter said. "They have machines we have never seen before. They gave the baby medicine. They played music. Nothing works." Jake felt something strange in his chest. He had never had kids of his own, but the sound of the crying baby made him want to do something. It reminded him of every sad child he had ever seen. Even though this baby was an alien, it sounded just like a human baby who needed help. "What if—" Jake started to say, but then stopped. "What?" Carter asked. Jake felt silly, but he said it anyway. "What if I tried to help? I know it sounds crazy, but maybe—" Carter stared at him. "Jake, you're a soldier. You don't know anything about babies, and these are aliens. We can't just—" The baby's cries got even louder. Through the door, they could hear the aliens arguing. Some were making angry sounds like breaking glass. "We're going to lose them," Carter said quietly. "If that baby doesn't stop crying, they're going to think we're cursed or something. 5 days of first contact planning down the drain." Jake looked at her with serious eyes. "Let me try. What's the worst that could happen?" Carter was quiet for a long time. The baby kept crying. Finally, she sighed. "If this goes wrong, it's both our careers." "I understand," Jake said. Carter opened the door, and they walked into the most important room in human history. But all Jake could think about was one small alien baby who wouldn't stop crying. The meeting room was full of tension when Jake and Ambassador Carter walked in. The big table was surrounded by humans on one side and Zephyrians on the other. In the middle, Princess Lyralith sat holding her crying baby. The sound filled the whole room and made everyone uncomfortable. The princess looked worse than before. Her purple crystal skin was getting darker, and the light inside her was dim. She rocked the baby back and forth, but nothing helped. The baby's cries were so loud that people had to raise their voices to talk. At the head of the table sat a very tall Zephyrian who wore something that looked like a crown made of silver crystal. Jake guessed this was someone important. The alien's skin was bright red like fire, and when he talked, his voice sounded angry. "This is not acceptable," the red alien said through his translator. "We came here to make peace, but the universe sends us a sign. My grandson cries without stopping. Perhaps the stars do not want this alliance." Ambassador Carter stepped forward. "High Counselor Vection, please. The baby is just sick. This has nothing to do with our peace talks." But High Counselor Vection stood up. His crystal body was so tall, his head almost touched the ceiling. "For 5 days the child has cried. Our best healers cannot help him. Our machines show nothing wrong, yet he suffers. This is a message from the cosmos." Other Zephyrians started talking in their musical language. Some sounded like they agreed with the High Counselor. Others sounded like they wanted to argue. The baby kept crying through all of it. Princess Lyralith looked up with tired eyes. "Please," she said in a weak voice, "do not blame my son for this. He is just a baby. He does not understand politics or peace or war. He only knows he is in pain and no one can help him." Jake watched the princess and felt his heart break a little. She was trying so hard to be strong, but he could see she was falling apart. Any mother would feel the same way if her baby cried for 5 days without stopping. The High Counselor pointed at the baby. Look how he suffers. Even now his cries grow louder. This alliance will bring nothing but pain to both our peoples. Some of the humans started to look worried. Captain Roy Martinez whispered something to Ambassador Carter. Jake could see that everyone was thinking the same thing. If the aliens left now, there might never be another chance for peace. Princess Lyraleth tried to stand up, but she was too weak. She fell back into her chair, and the baby cried even harder. Tears that looked like liquid diamonds fell from her eyes. I cannot do this anymore, she whispered. I have tried everything. I have sung to him. I have held him. I have fed him. Nothing works. I am failing as a mother. That was when Jake stepped forward. He didn't ask permission. He didn't think about rules or protocol. He just walked up to the princess and knelt down beside her chair. Your Highness, he said softly. May I try to help? Every alien in the room turned to stare at Jake. The High Counselor made a sound like breaking ice. What is this? A human soldier thinks he knows better than our healers? But Princess Lyraleth looked at Jake with hope in her crystal eyes. You would do this? You would touch an alien child? Jake nodded. I'd like to try. Sometimes babies just need a different kind of care. The High Counselor stepped closer. His red crystal skin was glowing with anger. This is an insult. We cannot allow a primitive human to handle royal blood. Primitive? Jake stood up and looked the High Counselor in the eye. Sir, with respect, your advanced medicine hasn't helped this baby. Maybe primitive is exactly what he needs. Ambassador. Carter grabbed Jake's arm. Sergeant Morrison, stand down. But Princess Lyraleth was already holding out her baby. Please, she said. I do not care about insults or primitive or advanced. I only care about my son. Jake reached out slowly and carefully took the baby in his arms. The little alien was lighter than he expected. Its crystal skin was warm and smooth. For a moment, the baby kept crying, but then something strange happened. The cries changed. They got quieter. The baby looked up at Jake with big eyes that sparkled like jewels. Jake had never seen anything so beautiful and sad at the same time. Jake started to rock gently from side to side. He remembered watching his sister with her kids. He remembered his mother taking care of the neighbor's baby when he was little. Without thinking about it, he started to hum. The song was old. His grandmother had sung it to him when he was scared of the dark. Twinkle, twinkle, little star, how I wonder what you are. The baby's cries got softer. Jake kept humming and rocking. The whole room was quiet except for his voice and the baby's quieter whimpers. Up above the world so high, like a diamond in the sky. The Zephyrians were staring with their mouths open. Their translators were making confused sounds as they tried to understand the melody. Princess Lyraleth put her hands over her heart. Jake kept humming, and the baby kept getting calmer. After a few minutes, the crying stopped completely. The baby closed its crystal eyes and fell asleep in Jake's arms. The room was silent for a long time. Everyone was staring at Jake and the sleeping baby. High Counselor Vection looked shocked. Princess Lyraleth was crying tears of relief. How? She whispered. How did you do that? Jake looked down at the peaceful baby and smiled. I don't know. Sometimes you just have to try something different. Dr. Lisa Park, the ship's science officer, was writing notes as fast as she could. The harmonic frequencies in human humming, she said quietly, Maybe there's something about our vocal cords that resonates with their physiology. But Jake wasn't thinking about science. He was thinking about how good it felt to help someone, even if that someone was an alien baby from another world. The High Counselor sat down slowly. His angry red color was fading to orange. This is unexpected. Princess Lyrillith stood up and walked over to Jake. "Thank you," she said. "You have given me back my son." Jake carefully handed the baby back to her. As soon as he let go, the baby started to whimper again. Princess Lyrillith looked worried, but Jake reached out and touched the baby's tiny hand. The whimpering stopped. Everyone in the room realized the same thing at the same time. The baby didn't just need help, he needed Jake. Word spread through the USS Liberty faster than wildfire. A human soldier had done what alien doctors could not do. He had stopped the royal baby from crying. People whispered about it in the hallways. Some said it was magic. Others said it was luck. But everyone wanted to know how Jake Morrison had saved the day. Dr. Lisa Park was the most curious of all. She was the ship's expert on alien life, and she had never seen anything like what happened in the meeting room. She asked Ambassador Carter for permission to study what Jake had done. "We need to understand this," Dr. Park told the ambassador. "If Jake can help their baby, maybe we can learn something important about both our species." Ambassador Carter agreed. The peace talks were going much better now that the baby was quiet. The Zephyrians seemed impressed that a human had helped their princess. Even High Counselor Vection was being more friendly. Dr. Park set up her equipment in a small room next to the meeting hall. Princess Lyrillith brought her baby, and Jake came to help. The Zephyrian healer named Kristen came too. He wanted to learn about human methods of baby care. "Please explain what you did," Dr. Park said to Jake as she turned on her recording machines. Jake felt a little silly. "I just held him and hummed a song. It's not really science or anything." The baby was awake, in his mother's arms, but he was calm. Sometimes he would make small sounds, but he wasn't crying. Princess Lyrillith looked much better. Her purple crystal skin was bright again, and she was smiling. Healer Kristen studied Jake with great interest. His crystal body was blue-green-like ocean water. "You use sound vibrations," he said through his translator, "but not the same frequencies we tried." Dr. Park nodded and showed them her computer screen. "I recorded Jake's humming. The sound waves are very different from Zephyrian music. Lower frequency, more irregular." "Irregular how?" Princess Lyrillith asked. "Well," Dr. Park explained, "when Zephyrians make music, it's perfect. Every note is exactly right. But when humans sing or hum, we're a little off-key. We add emotion to the sound instead of technical perfection." Jake took the baby from Princess Lyrillith. As soon as the infant was in his arms, it made happy gurgling sounds. Jake started to hum again, and the baby's crystal eyes sparkled with joy. Healer Kristen made excited sounds like wind chimes. "Look at the child's bio readings," he said, pointing to a small device attached to the baby's arm. "His stress levels are dropping. His heart rate is perfect. Whatever the human is doing, it works." Dr. Park was taking notes as fast as she could write. "Jake, try talking to the baby instead of humming." Jake looked down at the small crystal face and smiled. "Hey there, little guy. You feeling better now?" "Yeah, you are. You're a good baby, aren't you?" The baby made more happy sounds and reached up with tiny crystal fingers to touch Jake's face. When the small hand touched his cheek, Jake felt something warm and peaceful. "Amazing," Healer Kristen said. The child is bonding with you. This should not be possible between different species." Princess Lyrillith watched with wonder in her eyes. In our culture, babies usually only bond with their birth parents, sometimes with close family members, but never with strangers, and certainly never with aliens. Jake was enjoying himself. The baby was fun to hold and talk to. It reminded him of playing with his nieces and nephews back home. Maybe babies are smarter than we think. Maybe they don't care if someone is human or Zephyrian. They just know who makes them feel safe. Dr. Park asked Jake to try different things. She wanted to see what worked and what didn't. Jake tried singing different songs. He tried rocking the baby different ways. He tried making funny faces and silly sounds. Everything worked. The baby loved it all. But the most important thing was Jake's voice. When he hummed lullabies, the baby fell asleep. When he talked in a soft voice, the baby stayed calm and happy. When he made playful sounds, the baby laughed, which sounded like tiny silver bells. "There's something special about human vocal patterns," Dr. Park concluded. "Our voices produce harmonic frequencies that Zephyrian babies need to feel secure." Healer Kristen looked sad. "As we Zephyrians grow older, we lose the ability to make these sounds. Our voices become too pure, too perfect. We have gained technical skill but lost the emotional resonance that our children crave." Princess Lyrillith nodded. "This is why our birth rates have been falling. Our babies are born healthy, but they struggle to thrive. We thought it was a medical problem. We never considered it might be emotional." Jake was learning, too. He discovered that the baby liked certain rhythms better than others. He learned to read the infant's crystal face, to know when he was hungry or sleepy or just wanted attention. It wasn't that different from taking care of human babies, except everything sparkled more. "You have a natural gift," Princess Lyrillith told Jake. "You understand children in a way that our people have forgotten." Jake felt proud, but also humble. "I think all humans have this gift. We just don't think about it much. Taking care of babies is something we do without thinking." Captain Martinez came to check on them during the afternoon. He was amazed to see Jake sitting in a chair with the alien baby sleeping peacefully in his arms, while the princess and the healer asked him questions about human child care. "This isn't exactly what I expected when we planned first contact," the captain said with a smile. Dr. Park showed him her data. "Sir, what we're learning here could change everything. Jake has discovered that humans and Zephyrians can help each other in ways we never imagined." The captain nodded. "The peace talks are going very well. The Zephyrians are impressed by Jake's compassion. They're starting to see humans as more than just another alien species." That evening, Jake sat with Princess Lyrillith in the quiet observation deck. The baby was sleeping in a special crystal cradle, but he would only stay asleep if Jake was nearby. Outside the windows, stars filled the darkness like diamonds scattered on black silk. "Thank you," the princess said quietly. "You have saved more than just my son. You have saved my faith in motherhood." Jake didn't know what to say to that. He just watched the sleeping baby and felt grateful that he could help. Sometimes the most important things in life were also the simplest ones. "Tomorrow the High Counselor wants to see a demonstration," Princess Lyrillith said. "He wants to understand how human methods could help other Zephyrian families." Jake nodded. "I'll do whatever I can to help." But as he said it, Jake realized that his life was about to change in ways he could never have imagined. The next morning brought unexpected challenges. Jake woke up early and went to check on the baby like he had been doing for the past 3 days. He had fallen into a routine of feeding, singing, and playing with the little alien prince. But when he arrived at Princess Lyraleth's quarters, he found her arguing with several other Zephyrians. The loudest voice belonged to Lord Vexian, a tall alien with dark silver crystal skin. He was High Counselor Vexian's brother, and he did not like humans very much. His translator made his voice sound cold and angry. "This has gone too far," Lord Vexian was saying. "A primitive human handling royal blood is an insult to our entire civilization. The child should be cared for by proper Zephyrian nurses, not by some alien soldier." Princess Lyraleth held her baby close to her chest. The infant was starting to whimper because he could sense the tension in the room. "My son is healthy and happy for the first time in his life. That is all that matters to me. What matters is dignity," Lord Vexian snapped. "What will other worlds think when they learn that Zephyrian royalty depends on humans for basic childcare? They will see us as weak." Jake stepped into the room, and immediately the baby's whimpering stopped. The infant reached out his tiny crystal arms toward Jake with a happy gurgling sound. This made Lord Vexian even angrier. "See how the child prefers the alien to his own kind," Lord Vexian said with disgust. "This is unnatural. It goes against the cosmic order." Healer Kristen, who had been quietly standing in the corner, finally spoke up. "With respect, Lord Vexian, the child's health is more important than cosmic order. Jake has achieved what our most advanced medicine could not, because we have become soft," Lord Vexian replied. "We rely too much on technology and not enough on our natural strength. But the solution is not to depend on aliens. It is to remember our own ways." Jake picked up the baby and immediately felt the warm, peaceful feeling he always got when holding the little prince. The baby smiled up at him and made happy sounds, but Jake could see the conflict he was causing. "Maybe Lord Vexian is right," Jake said quietly. "Maybe I should step back and let your own people handle this." "No," Princess Lyraleth said firmly. "You are not causing problems. You are solving them." But Lord Vexian had more supporters than Jake realized. 3 other Zephyrian nobles entered the room. They all had the same cold, proud expressions. One of them, a female with white crystal skin, spoke in a voice like ice. "Princess, you must think of your position. If you continue to rely on this human, other royal families will question your fitness to rule. They will say you cannot even care for your own child without alien help." Princess Lyraleth looked tired again. The stress was making her crystal skin dim. "What would you have me do? Let my son cry himself to death to preserve appearances?" "We would have you find Zephyrian solutions to Zephyrian problems," Lord Vexian said. Jake felt the baby tense up in his arms. All the arguing was making the infant nervous. Jake started to hum softly and rock gently. The baby relaxed again, but Jake could see the pain in Princess Lyraleth's eyes. Dr. Park arrived with her equipment and was surprised to find the room full of angry aliens. "Is everything okay here?" "Everything is fine," Lord Vexian lied. "We were just discussing proper care protocols for the royal infant," but Princess Lyraleth looked at Dr. Park with pleading eyes. "Doctor, please explain to Lord Vexian why Jake's methods work. Help him understand the science." Dr. Park set up her machines and began to explain her findings. She showed charts and graphs that proved how human vocalizations helped Zephyrian babies. She explained the harmonic frequencies and emotional resonance that Jake's voice provided. Lord Vexian listened, but his expression never changed. Science or not, this dependence on humans is unacceptable. I demand that the child be separated from this soldier immediately. And if the baby starts crying again? Princess Lyrolith asked. Then we will find another way, Lord Vexian said coldly. Captain? Martinez walked into the room just as Lord Vexian reached for the baby. Is there a problem here? Jake held the baby closer. He didn't want to cause a diplomatic incident, but he also didn't want to see the little prince suffer. They want to take him away from me, sir. Captain Martinez looked around the room at all the tense faces. Princess Lyrolith, what do you want to do? The princess was quiet for a long moment. Jake could see her struggling between her love for her child and her duty to her people. Finally, she spoke in a voice that was barely a whisper. Take him, she said to Lord Vexian. Try your way, but if he starts crying and cannot be comforted, you will bring him back to Jake immediately. Lord Vexian smiled with satisfaction. He reached out and took the baby from Jake's arms. The moment the infant left Jake's embrace, everything went wrong. The baby's happy gurgling turned into frightened whimpering. Then the whimpering became crying. Within minutes, the crying became screaming. The sound was even worse than it had been on the first day. The baby was terrified and desperate. Lord Vexian tried to calm the child by speaking in soothing Zephyrian tones. He tried playing Zephyrian lullabies. He tried traditional rocking motions. Nothing worked. The baby screamed louder and louder. Princess. Lyrolith watched her son's distress with tears streaming down her crystal face. Please, she begged. Give him back to Jake. No, Lord Vexian said stubbornly. He will learn to accept proper care. But the baby only got worse. His crystal skin was turning dark with stress. His little body was shaking with exhaustion from crying so hard. Dr. Park's machines showed dangerous spikes in the infant's vital signs. You're hurting him, Jake said, stepping forward. Stay back, human, Lord Vexian warned. This is not your concern. But Princess Lyrolith had seen enough. She was a mother before she was a princess. She grabbed her baby from Lord Vexian's arms and immediately handed him to Jake. The moment Jake held the baby again, the screaming stopped. The infant collapsed against Jake's chest, exhausted but relieved. Jake hummed softly and the baby's breathing slowly returned to normal. Lord Vexian stared in shock. He had been so sure that Zephyrian methods would work if given enough time, but the evidence was clear. The baby needed Jake. Princess Lyrolith looked at Lord Vexian with steel in her voice. You have your answer. My son thrives with Jake's care and suffers without it. I will not sacrifice my child's well-being for politics. But the implications, one of the other nobles protested. What will this mean for our species? Jake looked, down at the sleeping baby in his arms, and then at all the worried Zephyrian faces around him. Maybe it means we have more in common than you think. The final day of peace talks arrived with tension thick in the air. Princess Lyrolith had made a decision that shocked everyone. She requested a formal meeting with both delegations to make an announcement about her son's care. The main conference room was packed. All the human diplomats sat on one side. All the Zephyrian nobles sat on the other. High Counselor Vexian presided over the meeting from his tall chair at the head of the table. His brother Lord Vexian sat nearby, still angry, about what had happened the day before. Jake stood at attention near the wall, wearing his dress uniform. In his arms, he held the baby prince, who was calm and happy. The little alien gurgled softly, and played with the shiny buttons on Jake's jacket. Everyone could see how content the child was. Princess Lireleth stood up to address both groups. Her purple crystal skin sparkled with determination. She had made up her mind, and nothing would change it. "Honored delegates," she began, "I have called this meeting to make an official request. I want Jake Morrison to be appointed as my son's honorary guardian and cultural ambassador between our peoples." The room exploded with shocked voices. Human diplomats whispered frantically to each other. Zephyrian nobles made sounds like breaking glass. High Counselor Vexian stood up so fast his chair fell over. "Absolutely not," Lord Vexian shouted. "This is madness. A human cannot hold such a position in Zephyrian society." But Princess Lireleth raised her hand for silence. "My son has been healthy and happy for 4 days under Jake's care. Before that, he cried for 5 days straight and nearly died. The choice is simple. My child's life is more important than our pride." Ambassador Carter looked worried. "Your Highness, while we appreciate the honor, this is very unusual. Are you sure this is wise?" "Wise?" Princess Lireleth laughed, and the sound was like music. "Is it wise to let children suffer to preserve tradition? Is it wise to ignore solutions because they come from unexpected sources?" Dr. Park stood up with her datapad in hand. "If I may, Your Highness, my research shows that this could benefit both our species. Zephyrian babies need the emotional frequencies that human voices naturally produce. At the same time, human caregivers could learn advanced pediatric techniques from Zephyrian healers." Healer Kristen nodded eagerly. "Dr. Park is correct. We have lost touch with the intuitive care that Jake demonstrates. Our medicine is technically perfect but emotionally cold. We could learn much from human methods." High Counselor Vexian was quiet for a long time. His red crystal skin flickered between different shades as he thought. Finally, he spoke in a measured voice. "Princess, you ask us to accept that humans can provide something we cannot. This challenges everything we believe about Zephyrian superiority." "Good," Princess Lireleth said firmly. "Maybe it is time our beliefs were challenged." Jake felt the baby grab his finger with a tiny crystal hand. The infant looked up at him with trust and affection. In that moment, Jake realized he would do anything to protect this child, even if it meant changing his entire life. "Your Highness," Jake said quietly, "if you really want me to do this, I accept. But I have conditions." Everyone turned to stare at him. A human soldier making conditions to alien royalty was unheard of. "Name them," Princess Lireleth said. Jake took a deep breath. "First, this has to be about helping children, not politics. I don't want to be used as a symbol or a weapon. Second, I want to learn your healing methods, too. This should be an exchange, not just humans helping Zephyrians. Third, other human caregivers should be trained to do what I do. One person can't solve problems for 2 whole species." High Counselor Vexian's skin shifted to a lighter shade of orange. "These are reasonable terms. But what about the cultural implications? What will other worlds think when they learn that the mighty Zephyrian Empire needs human help to raise its children?" Captain Martinez stood up. "With respect, High Counselor, maybe they'll think the Zephyrian Empire is wise enough to accept help when it's offered. Maybe they'll think both our species are smart enough to work together instead of competing." The baby in Jake's arms made a happy sound and clapped his tiny hands together. The innocent joy of the child seemed to melt some of the tension in the room. Princess Lireleth looked at her son with pure love. "When I look at my child, I do not see political complications. I see a baby who was suffering and now is happy. Jake gave me that gift. How can I do anything but honor him for it? Lord. Vection stood up reluctantly. If the princess insists on this course of action, I will not oppose it. But I want it on record that I still believe Zephyrian problems should have Zephyrian solutions. Your objection is noted, High Counselor Vection said. Then he turned to Jake. Sergeant Morrison, do you understand what you are agreeing to? You would leave your military service. You would live among our people. You would learn our language and our customs. This is not a temporary assignment. Jake looked around the room at all the expectant faces. Then he looked down at the baby, who was reaching up to touch his cheek with wonder in his crystal eyes. I understand, sir, and I'm ready. The vote was formal, but the outcome was never in doubt. The peace treaty was signed with an unprecedented addition. A cultural exchange program would be established. Human caregivers would help Zephyrian families rediscover their nurturing instincts. Zephyrian healers would teach humans advanced pediatric medicine. Jake became the